are strangers. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky ruin my vibe. Usually I don't do this often, but since recruiting isn't an option due to unusual rain and thunder, baby I wonder, would you just put your sweats on for me? Yeah. I got the plug, I made the call for me. I'm talking late night for you. Let me lay a great time on you. Don't hesitate, no, don't you? Just say you will. Come through and chill. Just say you will.
Every second, every minute, man, I swear that she can get it. Saying if you a bad bitch, put your hands up high, hands up high, hands up high. Tell them turn the lights down right now, put me in the mood. I'm talking about dark room, perfume, go.
I recognize your fragrance, hold up, you ain't never gotta say shit, and I know your taste is a little bit, high maintenance, everybody else basic, you live life on an everyday basis, with poetic justice, if I told you that a flower bloomed in a dark room, would you trust it? I mean, I write poems in these songs, dedicated to you when you're in the mood for empathy, there's blood in my pen, better yet with your friends and them, I really wanna know you off, I really wanna show you off. Fuck God, pour up plenty of champagne. Cold nights when you curse this name. You called up your girlfriends and your girl in that little bitty range. I heard that she wanna go and party. She wanna go and party. Nigga don't approach her with that Atari. Nigga that ain't good game home is sorry. They say conversation rule a nation. I can tell, but I could never right my wrongs unless I write it down for real. P.S. You can get it, you can get it, you can get it.
Yo, welcome to the SC Experience, aka Boy Eric, and we back. We back to talk some Raiders football, some different things, you feel me? Some free agency preview, as you can see from the title. Not only that, I guess you could call it, how do I say this? I guess you could call it the first official mock draft from SC Experience type deal. No, I'm not doing it live. I did my research. I went with the best. I did it a little different. You'll see what I'm talking about. I did it a little different. I didn't do what other people are doing, the mock drafts on live or anything. I did it based on my off season. As you can see from the thumbnail itself, this is the blueprint to a good off season, pretty much. We have everything, and you're gonna see with the cap space situation with the picks. We have all the tangibles to have a better off season than what we had last off season. We have a lot of, I guess, things on paper that could really take us to the next level in just a snap of a finger. and you'll see how I have everything listed, which we'll go by it after. I shout you guys out. So blessings to you guys and your families, man. Thank you guys for joining me, of course, man. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here, man. Shout out to Robert Pena in the building. Terrence is in the building as well. What's good, Terrence? EJ Raider, my brother, what's good? I hope all is well. The Raider critique, salute, bro. Salute to you as well. North Cal Raider Jesse in the building. Salute to you. Hope all is well. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Shout out to North Cal Raider Jesse in the building. What's good, North Cal Raider Jesse, man? What's good? What's good? Make sure to join the Discord if you want to become a member. The members there, exclamation mark member, membership, I think, and then exclamation mark Discord. And then shout out to Terrence to dropping the links as well, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to Dominic Five in the building, Avakazi Raider in the building as well. What's good, Avakazi? Good to see you. Shout out to Westside Media in the building. OG Chronicles of the Black Hole in the building. Um, and I think that is so far who we have. Hopefully, I didn't skip anybody. Robert Pena in the building. Robert Pena, what's good? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Shout out to Cool Kev in the building. Jaw Raider, what's good? And yeah. Um, first, news. There has it's been a little bit down on news right now. The only thing pretty much that I could think of is that Houston Texans is a new suit that the Raiders can move up in the draft, which it's a possibility, right? You get rid of the cap space, you give them a quarterback, you give them your first rounder, you give them your seventh, and you go up and you go get somebody like Jalen Carter. And you'll see based on what I have down, my little thinking of how things could go as of right now. Just know that everything I talk about today is before pre trades that we do, pre anything, at the end of the day. Shout out to Snoops Hernandez, was good. Cool Kevin, the building was good. At the end of the day, it's all before all of that. So let me see. So let me just get everything situated with this. Here we go. Here we go. And yeah, besides that, Aaron Rodgers is the new talk of the town, which I say hell no. Fuck no, actually. Not hell no. Fuck no. I don't want no goddamn stupid ass fucking Aaron Rodgers, that selfish guy. I don't want that. Shout out to Daniel Magana. He says, "What we signed a wide receiver for depth." Yes, Tyler Johnson, I believe. I think the same guy that we had before, if I'm not mistaken. Am I tripping? Am I missing something? Am I right? Like I think it's the same guy we had before. Let me actually double check just to make sure. Wide receiver Tyler Johnson had 36 career games. Starting eight, he posted 55 receptions for 605 yards and two touchdowns. So the guy's like a little bit of a speedster. He of course came from the Bucks recently, which now a lot of people are saying that Tom Brady's gonna for sure come, but it's just one wide receiver. We'll talk about it though. Shout out to D Mag, was good. The thing is with Tom Brady doesn't even know what the fuck he want to do. Tom Brady right now is in the mix of I don't know what to do. That's where he's at right now. He doesn't know what to do. There has been reports that that's who I'm getting mixed up with. Tyler Johnson, Tyron Johnson. There we go. There we go. Yeah, no, it's not Tyron Johnson. It's the Tyler Johnson. It's a different one. Um, so, um, with Tom Brady, there's a lot of things happening with Tom Brady. He doesn't even know what he wants to do next year. Like that's a big problem to me. For me personally, that's a big problem for me because it's kind of like you don't even know what you want to do. You don't even know if you want to do football anymore. Like he's really like how do I say this? He's really trying to see if he's gonna retire or not, and that's somebody that I don't want that is already thinking of being done with football. You feel me? So that's another talk that a lot of us need to have with Tom Brady because a lot of people were saying get Tom Brady, and I think that was our best bet as far as having a veteran there and a cheaper option. But at the same time, it's all up to him if he wants to continue football or not. And right now, his mind is all over the place, and that's what the reports are. He doesn't know what to do, right? Um, but I do know that with decisions like this, is just it's a matter of fact of just playing the weighty game. I think he's playing more of the patience game. I said this before, and I'll say it again. I think that he's not gonna sign day one or day two of free agents or even day three. The guy's gonna take a couple of days to really know what team he wants to go to and if he's gonna continue. So for me, It's not a big of a deal that he's doing that, but it still makes me a little bothered that he's thinking about it. But at the same time, I understand the guy's around 46. The guy's old. Um, he just came from getting his ass whooped by the Cowboys. Like, like there's a lot of things running through his mind. Not only that, his wife and all that stuff that's going on, and Antonio Brown's dumbass and shit like that. So I understand. People have to take their time, and of course, he deserves to take his time. So we'll see what happens moving forward on what they do, and anything can change, right? Shout out to Egalitarian in the building. Daniel, what's good? He said he was gonna open to take less money going to a new team on a trade on a patch. So yeah, Tom Brady's been always that type of guy to take a cheaper money. He's always been that guy. It's been nothing new with him. You wonder why the Patriots always built around him, because not only did they draft good, they found gems in the dust, and not only that, Bill Belichick is a great head coach, and they turn nothing into something, and they used the money to defense and offensive line, and you've seen how well Tom Brady did. The game recently that Tom Brady had was a perfect example of how he is with the mediocre team around him. You've seen it when he's one dimensional. He makes a struggle when he's got receivers doing certain things. When he got offensive line, getting their ass whooped, and a mediocre defense. You've seen what Tom Brady could do, and I get it. Some people may say age is a factor, but at the end of the day, I always knew that Tom Brady, if he never had a team like the Patriots, I really think the guy would have not won that many rings, in my opinion. If he didn't have that many good of a teams, perfect teams, if you realize it, his defense was always top 10, his offensive line was always top 10, his running back room was running back by committee really well. His tight end is a Hall of Famer. His two receivers, one of them is going to be Hall of Fame at least, Edelman. Um, there's a lot of considerations with that. And I kind of said that, at the end of the day, Tom Brady won the rings. We can't go back in time or change that. But at the same time, it kind of shows you that if you put a perfect team around a quarterback, no matter who it is, they have a high level of succeeding, right? Um, Shout out to Persian Raider. What's good, man? Good to see you. Bugsy Raider in the building. Jack Kenna, what's good, man? Good to see all three of you guys. My hope all is well. Um, but let's get straight into it. We see more people in here. I kind of made a slideshow. You know me, I have to do my research. We have to do my research. So hopefully this looks good on your guys' screen. Of course, hopefully this looks good on your guys' screen. Here we go. Shout out to D Menace. What's good, D Menace? And as Terrence says, hit that like button for me. The 2023 cap space for the Las Vegas Raiders before Derek Carr. So this is before Derek Carr, y'all. The Raiders have 22.7 million right now. Right now, this instant, they have 22.7 million. This is due to the fact that 6.7 million of unused cap space. Remember, we talked about this the other offseason when you carry on cap space. They're taking on a 6.7 million transfer from 2022 to 2023, making it 22.7. Now, when Derek Carr's gone, because he will be, if he gets released, there will be a 5 million cap hit, which he's still earning more than 5 million, around more than 30 million, which you add that to the 22.7 million, you have a total of 56.9 million in cap space to work with after Carr is gone. So once Carr is gone, you got 56.9 million to work with exactly. Exactly 56.9. Shout out to Chile. What's good, Chile? Hope all is well. So that's after Derek Carr, 56.9, right? Then you go on to the restructuring and the trade candidacy, right? There's a lot of things to go into a factor. You could easily restructure Hunter Renfro. You could easily let go of Andre James or Bilal Nichols and open up more cash. But I did it a more realistic approach, and I think these are the two guys to restructure. Colton Miller is earning 17.65 million in 2023. For me, I would restructure it, which would open up a 3.375 million to the cap space. Now Chandler Jones is earning 19.3, just about 12 or 20 million in 2023. A guy that just got hurt and really didn't do anything except for that game winner. I'm not paying a guy 19.3 million to sit there and play contain in parentheses. Contain. So after you structure somebody like Colton Miller and Chandler Jones, you would therefore have 64.725 million to work with. Of course, you could restructure more than this, but me, realistically, I don't think we could restructure everybody. I think these two guys are the main candidates. And now, as far as potential trade candidates, you got, of course, Derek Carr. that people are saying that he might really get dealt with: Hunter Renfro, Darren Waller, and Trayvon Merrick. And you may say, why Renfro? Why Waller? There's been talks that they're trying to 360 the fuck out of this roster, which I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it, but I don't think they get rid of him. I'm just saying potential trade candidates. Trayvon Merrick is on that trade candidacy as well for me. I believe Waller will be gone, traded on draft day. Ooh, okay, okay, that's a bold take right there. Shout out to Jaime. What's good, Jaime? Bienvenido. Shout out to Jaime. Buenos dias. Shout out to you. Let me see. Supiste the rumor that Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady. Tom Brady has been a rumor for a very long time. The past 5 years, it's it's been something. And at the end of the day, with Tua being gone as well, as far as the Dolphins go, they could get Carr. So it is a possibility. You're right, Jaime. It is possible that the Dolphins could get Carr if Tua doesn't continue to play football. 3 concussions, 2 back-to-back, that takes a toll on that. So of course, like I said, this this trade candidates is all just potential. It's not gonna happen. It's just potential. People that would be on the trade block. So far, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, they've been taking calls. Derek Carr has been taking calls. So it's just a matter of fact of, and we've seen that they're willing to get rid of rookie contracts. So moving forward, and we get to the spicy stuff. The spicy stuff. The Raiders re-signing. I want to hear your guys' take on this. I want to hear your guys' take on this because there's a lot of free agents that we got. A lot. When I looked at the list, I was like, holy shit. Now, I only think some people are worth it. Shout out to Abakazi Raider. He says, we trade Renfro and Waller. We open new gapping holes when we had enough holes on the roster as it is. Renfro at least deserves the chance to find his way back. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's why I said it's potential. But like I said, anything we've seen, this regime doesn't give a fuck about if you have a rookie contract, veteran contract. If they don't care about anything, they've been ruthless with this shit. So it scares me. But at the same time, I don't think they'll get rid of him. Maybe the most they could do, and I seen it, is that they could restructure Renfro, not Waller. Renfro is more of a possibility of restructuring, and it would open up more cap space for us. For so far, I only have Chandler Jones, Colton Miller restructuring, but they could restructure more people than that, and they could release people. Now, I want to hear your guys' take if somebody I'm missing or somebody you don't want on the list that I listed. So the only person I really gave a contract to was Josh Jacobs. I gave him a 4-year, and actually I put 12 million by accident. My bad. My bad. My bad. I actually put 12 million where it says 4 years, 12 million. But I meant that he was gonna earn 12 million a year. That would be the base of it. The base of it, of course. And if I do that and I multiply by 4, I say a 4-year, $48 million contract, around a $48 million contract for Josh Jacobs, making it 12 million and really giving him some guaranteed money to really lessen the blow in cap hit. And you got to remember, the cap hit is always less than the annual thing. That's why when contracts come out, I tell people relax, break down the contract, then react. Don't react right away and see, oh my god, this guy is earning 12 million a year. What the fuck? And then you realize the first year is like a $2 million cap hit, the second year is like a $3 million cap hit, and then after that it's like 13, 15, and all of that. So with Josh Jacobs, I think he deserves the money, and I think a 4-year, $48 million contract is perfect for him. And I think you backload the contract and you really give him some guaranteed contract and a signing bonus that would really benefit the cap hit and not hit the cap too much. You feel me? Shout out to the Raider Room in the building. What's good, Raider Room? Good to see you. Hope all is well. So some people I would resign is, of course, Josh Jacobs, like I talked about. I'll bring back Deron Harmon on a 1-year, $3 million or $2 million contract, all guaranteed. Jared Stidham, I'll bring him back. I'll bring back Foster Moreau. Uh, Cleve Farrell, I would bring him back. I know a lot of people have mixed emotions about Cleve Farrell, but I think that he wanted to be a Raider for life, and he's willing to not take too much of a bag. And I think it'll be a cheaper contract than his draft contract, in my opinion, because he hasn't been doing too many snaps. And at the end of the day, we could get him for cheap, and he's a good rotation. Now, Amir Abdullah is somebody that I would bring back personally. We need a fullback in Jacob Johnson. Andrew Billings played pretty damn well. I'll bring him back. A Jerry Tillery, I'll bring him back. 2 DTs there for that. Let me see what people got to say. Shout out to Michael Guerrero. What's good, man? EJ Raider says Hollins over Moreau for me. Okay. That's an interesting one. For me personally, I don't want Matt Collins back. That's just after the Titans game, he was kind of non-existent in my opinion. But he still is a good enough 50-50 ball getter. So, I could see him stay as well. I could see him stay. But for me personally, I think having that tight end too and drafting a tight end after that is all good for me, right? He said too many tight ends in the upcoming draft. Pass on Tillery too. Okay. We need a speedy number two. We do need some speed. Brandon Cooks might be available, but he might cost you a pretty bunch. But there's different things that you could go about it, right? There's different ways you could go about it. That's what I meant. There's different ways you could go about it. So it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing. Hollins can't be effective when Carr keeps taking sacks, Cooks old pass. Cool, Kev. I know you're a Hollins fan. I know you're a Mac Hollins fan. But let's be realistic. Even when Stidham was out there, Hollins still was non-existent. Let's be honest, bro. The guy is not what he was in the Titans game, bro. He's not, bro. We've seen it. He was inconsistent as fuck. You know who did better than him? My guy, Demarcus fucking Robinson. The guy that I said, why did we release? The same guy people said, oh no, Demarcus Robinson's not that good. Keelan Cole, Mac Hollins, yada yada yada. Fuck no. I said Demarcus Robinson was the best suitor um for our scheme because Demarcus Robinson is a great route runner, a great slot, and at the end of the day, a pretty fast at that. And of course, Demarcus Robinson, went to the Ravens, caught a touchdown pass in the playoffs, and balled out. So we let go of Goodwin, just like we let go of Hankins, and we let go of we let go of Jonathan Abram, and even though they're out of the playoffs, they still made the playoffs and they still play pretty decent. Um, but I would not be mad if they bring back Matt Collins. I wouldn't doubt it if they bring back Matt Collins. I mean, the guy's still a 50-50 ball. Maybe all they needed was like I said, a new quarterback maybe to throw the 50-50 ball to Matt Collins. I just don't know why they didn't throw it last year. They were targeting Devontae Adams a lot, but at the same time, it's understandable. For me, I think Matt Collins could stay, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I was mad as fuck when Gruden got rid of Snead. Well, Snead kind of fucked us over in the first game against the Ravens last year, but besides that, the guy is good when healthy, but he's been a little inconsistent recently. Holland's a bad when you factor in healthy Waller and Renfro in the field as well as far. It opens up a lot of space. It opens up a lot. Shout out to Russ Cook. First of all, Hollins is a McDaniels fan. He'll do anything this team needs. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't doubt if he comes back. If McNucks trades star players when the Raiders are trying to get back to the playoffs, we are in trouble. Facts. I don't think they'll trade him. I think they'll keep the core. I can't pass on Tillery. I can't pass on Tillery. D line played better when he was on the field. Facts. And that's why I put Tillery and Andrew Billings there. So far, our D tackle room as of right now, if we were to resign these people, will be Neil Farrell, Matthew Beller, Andrew Billings, Jerry Tillery, and Bilal Nichols. That's so far what we got so far. Let me see who else is. James D is just doing in Denver, just not in the first year. Hey, I'm not a person to talk about history, but if you remember with Jay Cutler and stuff, you remember the same stories that are coming out about Carr were the same things that were coming about him. Mm-hmm. 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 First of all, sorry for that. First of all, oh, I already read that. Sorry. Wish we would have signed Darius Phylon back. I think he's still a free agent, bro. He didn't even get signed all year. I think he has to do a lot with his injury. I think it was worse than people believe. But Phylon was out there tweeting, "Oh, I deserve more now that you need me." All this different stuff. He was like, "Oh, now they need me," or some shit. He was saying a lot of shit on Twitter, bro. And in my opinion, I just think it was an injury thing. I don't think it was his play. And at the end of the day, the guy should stop tweeting and more training. You feel me? Shout out to Darth Vader in the building. What's good, Darth Vader? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Let me see. Let me see. Now we go into free agency. This is gonna be an interesting one. I don't know if you guys would agree, but let's talk about it. So I did the math. Getting all these players will still have us at a positive cap space. I even took away the 6 million you need for the draft, and we'll talk about the draft after this free agency. I want to know your guys' free agent market. Who are the players that you guys would want in free agency? For me, I got 5 people on the list, and these 5 people are people that realistically we could get. Jacksonville is just above the cap. They're just above. They're not way above or way below, but they're just above. They're a titty bit. Jawan Taylor, I would sign him personally. One of the underrated tackles. Did a pretty good job on that right side. For a 3 years, $15 million contract, that would give him a 5.252 on average on that right tackle spot. Just I think above 2 million above Illuminor, something about that, and better than Illuminor in my opinion. Then you got Ben Powers, and I talked about Ben Powers before as well. He came from the Ravens. He hasn't allowed a sack in over 1,000 snaps. One of the best pass blockers in the league as a guard position, and he was blocking for 4 different quarterbacks. You got Huntley, you got Lamar Jackson, and I forgot the other two. But with Lamar Jackson being out, he had to cover a lot of mobile quarterbacks, and that's pretty hard when you're a guard because your quarterback is always running. And he did a good job. He didn't even allow a single sack. He allowed one QB hit, and the guy played pretty well. For me, I seen his market value was around 4 million, and I think a 3 year, $12 million contract, only using 4 million a year is perfect for Ben Powers. Bringing in a guard like that will really help our offensive line a lot. And they're all young, y'all. They're all under 28, so that's a positive. Deron Payne, I don't know about y'all, but I would pay Deron Payne some money. In my opinion, I would bring in Deron Payne. 3 years, 39 million, just about 40 million. That would give him a $13 million contract, which would make him a top 10 paid D tackle. But you could easily maneuver that. You could easily maneuver that contract, and I think you paid Deron Payne. I really think you have to. You have to have somebody like that on that defensive line. If you have that good of a defensive line, your secondary doesn't have to be elite. They could be good and they could look elite. So, mhm, mhm. Haven't done my research on free agency. We got to get the best 2 offensive line out there. For me personally, the best bet I think is Jawan Taylor and Ben Powers. You could put Orlando Brown in the mix, but Orlando Brown costs money, and I doubt we want to pay that money to him. So, Jawan Taylor, Ben Powers are the 2 offensive line I'll go to. Shout out to Sean Johnson. Draft early board. So this is your board, Sean. This is your how you would draft. CJ Stroud, Tuli Tupolito. Hey, Tuli, man, that boy's a beast, bro. People underestimate him. Isaiah Foskey, I like Drew Sanders from Arkansas. Tyree Wilson, or is this just the board? Because Tyree Wilson is a top 15 pick, so and you have him at 5. Emmanuel Forbes, I like Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State. Antonio Johnson from Texas A&M, and Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee for the wide receiver. Let me know if that's your board or that's like who would you draft. Got to bring in his DB as well. Maybe Bates. Now, this is the question here, right? Are you gonna go the Jordan Poyer, Jesse Bates route, or are you gonna go the Tremaine Edmonds route or Jamal Dean route, right? For me, I went the Jamal Dean route. 3 years, 21 million. Has been consistently above a 75 grade coverage grade, so has been consistently good in the Bucks. The guy's young. These guys are all young, and he would help out our secondary. As you know, I would re-sign Rock Ya-Sin. I would, of course, re-sign Rock Ya-Sin. And Nate Hobbs is still there. Amik Robertson is there. We signed Tyler Hutt to an extension anyways. So your secondary right now with Jamal Dean on there would be Nate Hobbs in the slot, Rock Ya-Sin on the outside, Jamal Dean on the other side, Amik Robertson backing him up, Tyler Hall backing him up, and Sam Webb backing him up. But that's without the draft, and we'll talk about the draft right now. That's without the draft. And then you'll have Trayvon Merrick and you'll have Deron Harmon again. And you could easily draft the safety. But like I said, Trayvon Merrick is a trade candidate. He's a potential trade candidate. I know a lot of people like Michael says release Morrick, please. Because Morrick is somebody that I feel bad for because the scheme he ran in TCU was, I believe, a single high cover one type deal where he was the only one in the backfield. And in those cases, it's a lot of man coverage where he has to take over the top. Now, with this system, it's more of two safeties in the back. So he has to also pay attention to his side. And you would think that paying attention to his side is easier than paying attention to the whole field, but it's a whole different type of scheme. It's a whole different. He has to be bouncing around. He's got to go inside out. He has to do all types of things in this scheme, and this scheme is not built for somebody like Trayvon Merrick because Trayvon Merrick came from a different type of scheme. You wonder why he works so well in the Gus Bradley system, because I was a cover three with a single high. That alone was perfect for Trayvon Merrick, but I think it's too early to give up on him. He's on a rookie contract, and I'll still keep him one more year, and if he can't get it the second year, you ship him off. Easy as that. So we'll see what happens. But for me, so far, so now let's remember, so far with the free agents that I got on this list, right? And I have, of course, Tremaine Edmonds, 4 years, 41 million, 10 million on average about that. And you could, and like I said, look at the end. Cap hits are less than your average. So don't get it twisted by the using 4 mil, using 7 mil. It's a lot less than that. Shout out to D-Buck. Not only did he have learn a new scheme last year, but he also moved from free safety to strong safety. And that's what I meant about he had to be switching and he had to be coming in and out. And that's what I meant is that the free safety to strong safety is a whole different dynamic. The guy had to be versatile in the system. He has to be forced to play a position. Now, I hope Patrick Graham could do what he said he was going to do and put these guys in the best position to win. The best way to use the Trayvon Merrick, have him as a single high. Play that man coverage that you're best at. Play him as a free safety. Play him at we talk about a lot of man coverage. Run the man coverage. I see more zone than man coverage in my opinion. So yeah, he ain't no Seawood. So that's why I would keep him another year. So now breaking it all down with free agency so far. Your defense so far looks like Chandler Jones on the left. You have Deron Payne in the middle, Bilal Nichols, and you also have Max Crosby on the other side. Then you have Tremaine Edmonds, and now your other linebacker spot. You gotta see what you want to do with that linebacker spot. Would you bring back Denzel Perriman on a lot cheaper contract? Personally, I would. I would pair up Perriman and Tremaine Edmonds, because Tremaine Edmonds is a better coverage linebacker than Denzel Perriman. And Denzel Perriman is a great tackler. And yes, he's been injured, but having that guy and his injury kind of cost him his price, and it'll bring him a lot well. So just imagine this defense so far with this free agency. You have Max Crosby, Chandler Jones, Bilal Nichols, Deron Payne. And if you're running a 3-4, then you have um, Deron Payne, Bilal Nichols, Andrew Billings, and then you have Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. But let's just say a 4-3. Let's just say they're running a 4-2-5. Let's just say they're running a 4-2-5, which is Chandler Jones, Max Crosby, Deron Payne, and Bilal Nichols. Then you're in the linebacker core. You have your two inside linebackers in Denzel Perriman, and you have Tremaine Edmonds. Now you look at your secondary. You have Jamal Dean, Rock Ya-Sin, Nate Hobbs in the slot, Trayvon Merrick, and Deron Harmon. How does that sound so far? So far, I think that's a good. That's a better defense than last year. That's, in my opinion, that's a better defense alone already last year. What do you guys think? I already think that's a better defense. In my opinion, that's already a better defense. It's a way better defense than last year, bro. In my opinion, it's a way better defense. So shout out to Critique. And I talked about a little bit earlier, Critique. I think with Renfro and Waller, that talk, I put him as a trade candidate. I don't think he'll be. I don't think they will. Corners, okay. Critique teams just monitoring, knowing the regime is going to be aggressive and improving team. Yeah, they're going to do anything in the way they can. Draft better on the inside of the D line. And we'll talk about the draft now. Let's talk about the draft real quick. So I guess this is my first official mock draft, you could say. My first official mock draft, I guess you could say, right? And this is based on the free agency that I got, right? So I'm trying, as you could see, I'm doing my personal 2023 offseason that you could pull off. Everything is realistic. It's not like I'm saying go get Jalen Ramsey and go get Marcus Peters, put him on the same team, and go get goddamn Tom Brady and go get Marcus Mariota to back him up and go get Orlando Brown. Nah. I made sure to make sure the cap space was still intact. So as you could see for the draft, I researched it around 5,945,720 for the draft needs to be allocated. That's the money that with all those picks is allocated to those picks. So shout out to Ray Love. Shout out to Ed Capitan. If you guys can hit that like button for me, I'll greatly appreciate it. So here's the draft. Here's my first official. Now, you may say, SC, there's no way in hell that Jalen Carter will make it to number 7. And that's why I put Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez, or a quarterback. I don't know what way you guys would go, but those are the 3 options at pick number 7. For me, Christian Gonzalez, I said this before, and I am starting to hear people start talking about him, which I feel great about because I was the first one to practically bring it up, unless I haven't been watching somebody else. But for a very long time, I've been talking about Christian Gonzalez, a 6'2" guy that plays a very physical game in Oregon. The guy has every single tangible to be the best corner in this draft. For me, I've had a lot of favorites. There's 3 favorites that I got. It's him, Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State, and of course, also Clark Phillips III from Utah. Those are my 3 favorite corners. Now, Kelly Ringo is somebody that I didn't have top 15. People had him top 15. I was like, you're crazy, bro. I don't see him at top 15 at all. But I do think Christian Gonzalez is somebody that you could get later on. Now the question is Jalen Carter. Now, some people may say Jalen Carter won't make it past the top 5. Now, if you look at the draft order, and this is what I see the draft board going as of right now. Let me repeat it. As of right now, is that Chicago would go defense in the very first pick. And I think they will get an edge. I think Will Anderson will be the first person off the board for Chicago Bears. I think another edge rusher, just like Trayvon Walker last year, that came out of nowhere, Will Anderson will be that guy that will be picked number 1 in the draft by Chicago. Chicago loves their defense. They could go Jalen Carter, but they love their defensive ends more. The Houston Texans are at 2. Will they be able to trade for Derek Carr, or will they go get their quarterback of the future in Bryce Young? I think Bryce Young is a perfect fit for the Houston Texans. Let's say no trades happen. Houston Texans get Bryce Young, right? So far, you got Will Anderson at 1, Bryce Young at 2. Shout out to Julio Coolio. And then at 3, you got the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals is an interesting topic. Not only do they need a lot of offensive line help, but they also just lost J.J. Watt to how do I say this? They just lost J.J. Watt due to retirement. And they don't need a quarterback. And they might lose their receiver. Now, you may say Jalen Carter is a good fit there. But for me, I think they want to replace. And now, this is before. We have seen crazier things in the draft. We have seen players getting chosen over other players. We've seen people go up in draft boards. Who would have known that Trayvon Walker? We were talking, guys, last year, at this time, in January 25th of last year, we were talking about how Aiden Hutchinson was going to be the very first pick off the draft. That's all people were talking about. Aiden Hutchinson. And what happened the day of the draft? Trayvon Walker was the very first pick of the NFL draft and came out of nowhere. And I was surprised because at the end of the day, all the talks in the whole offseason, even at the Senior Bowl and all that stuff, was Hayden Hutchinson was number 1. And that's why I'm saying these scenarios, y'all, because I've seen crazier things and people will call me crazy right now. But once it happens, you'll be like, oh, shit. Now I see Arizona Cardinals may be trying to either be a very um feisty team and go get an offensive tackle for the future, or they would go out and get Jalen Carter possibly, or they would go out and replace JJ Watt and Tyree Wilson would be the third pick. And yes, people will say you're crazy. You're crazy. Tyree Wilson's not a top 3. We've seen crazier things in the draft. And at the end of the day, some of these teams pick what they need, not best available. Sometimes they pick what they need and the best available at what they need. And they need, after JJ Watt retiring, a edge rusher. Now you could easily go Jalen Carter. That's an easy pick as well. They could go corner too. They lost their corners before. They lost Patrick Pearson the other year. There's a lot of things they could go. There's a lot of ways they could go. It's a team that could get pushed back too. But as of right now, I see the Cardinals going Tyree Wilson, number 3. I really do. Now for the Indianapolis Colts, I think they get their quarterback. Now the Indianapolis Colts is an interesting topic, right? Will they trade for Derek Carr? That is the question. What team is going to pick up Derek Carr? That changes the whole dynamic. If the Lions, Colts, or Houston get Derek Carr, this will change the whole trajectory of the draft. But as of right now, there has been no Derek Carr trade. So therefore, I'm just going based on where they're at now. With the Indianapolis Colts, I really do believe that they would go Will Levis. As much as I disagree with Will Levis and how Will Levis, I always say this, with Will Levis, you're drafting for potential. You're drafting with potential for Will Levis. Will Levis is exactly what Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield was just another potential guy. Not saying Will Levis will end up exactly like him. Maybe Will Levis just needs that perfect system for him to be really well. He's got the tangibles, right? He's got the NFL body. He's got the big body, breakout of tackles type quarterback. And that's why people call him Josh Allen. People say he has an arm talent as well. But his decision making is one of the worst in the draft. His decision making is shit. He pump fakes a lot. He fake throws it and then throws it to the same person he fake throws it to, and the cornerback makes a play. That's been his problem. When he throws it deep, his wide receivers make more of an effort than the quarterback. The quarterback just slings it. Yeah, the throw power is there, but his accuracy is shit, and the wide receiver does the rest of the job when you really look at film. And we'll do a Will Levis film study, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So Will Levis is just that potential. You're drafting for potential. And he's that guy that somebody in the draft is going to take and be like, you know what? I'm going to feed into the hype. It always happens. It always fucking happens all the goddamn time. You wonder why you wonder why Johnny Manziel was picked number 1. These people that are getting picked number 1, most of them are due to the hype and the things revolving around him. Oh, he's the next this. They're your drafting potential. And that's pretty much with every player, but with Will Levis especially, you're drafting potential. But I feel like the Colts will take him. Will Levis in a Colts uniform is just a match. And shout out to 57 people in here, man. If you guys can't hit that like button for me and subscribe if you are new. But I think that they would go Will Levis. I think they'll be the team to pick Will Levis. Now, the Seattle Seahawks is a very interesting topic. Seattle needs a lot. They're losing a lot of their D tackles. And they're losing their guards, and their tackles have been absolutely dog shit. And they need linebackers. So there's a lot of things that they need to establish. The question is, what are they going to do in free agency, right? That's the question. What is Seattle going to do with the free agency? Let me see. Kuka says, how is Levis different from Carr? They play the same way. Not necessarily. Carr had a better deep accuracy than Levis, but at the same time, what Levis got on Carr is that he's more mobile as far as strength and body wise. But Carr has better accuracy than Levis. But Levis is younger and has a potential. And that's what I'm saying. That's why somebody will take Will Levis. Oh, Bourbon said Will Levis will be the best NFL quarterback in the draft. That's a hot take. Personally, that's a hot take for me. I know it's not a hot take for everybody else. His leadership and moxie can't be caught. He's also been in NFL office last 2 seasons. Strong and Young are less than. And I did talk about that, right? I think last year, I think 2 years ago, I think last year or 2 years ago, I think last year, he says still defending Carr, and you're still defending Mark Davis. Anyways, here we go. With Will Levis, and this is an interesting topic to talk about. Kentucky is an interesting place to be at. They had two NFL coaches, two NFL offenses, like you said. I talked about this. I think I forgot which live it was. Those two lives ago and one live ago. Um, Will Levis did run, and that's why I say potential. He's been in an NFL type system for 2 years, back to back practically. He had less talent in his second year, which was this recent year. He had less talent on the team. He lost a lot of his players. He lost Wando Robinson. He lost a lot of that. But there was no jump. What I like to see is a jump, and what I mean is an improvement and an improvement in somebody's game in the draft. I don't go just based on the recent year. I go based on every time this player has started and has played, and how good has he played on a consistent basis, and how well has he improved in certain cases. With Will Levis, in my opinion, he did not improve from 2021 to 2022 at all. The guy had similar numbers to when he had a receiver, when he had an offensive line. There was no difference. The guy's decision making is one of the worst in the draft when you really look at it. Now, will I be wrong? Yeah, it's a big ass potential thing. He could be the best quarterback in the draft because of the potential that he got. Sky's the limit for the kid. I'm not gonna say he's the next Josh Allen, but the guy has every tangible. If he plays his cards right and goes into a system that is perfect for him and he learns, the guy could be the best quarterback in the draft. I'm not taking nothing away from that. But for me, I'm not buying into the hype because I've seen this hype before. And when looking at the tape, his like I said, is not the best. It's a lot of under 10-yard throws. It's a lot of quick passes. It's a lot of bad throws, underneath throws, and stuff like that. So it's hard to show a jump when you lose most of your talent and an offense even on the line. He got beat up this year. Kentucky is not Alabama. It's not stacked with talent. Even Alabama didn't have that much talent. You know that, right? Believe it or not, Alabama, this was one of the worst Alabama teams in recent years, and they still did good. And people may say, "Oh, but they still had a lot of people in the draft." Yeah, but it says a lot from Alabama and their successful seasons in the recent years. There's been a lot of things with Alabama in recent years, right? Last year they were really good. The year before they were really good. The year before they were really good. They had a lot of talent stacked. You had the Henry Ruggs, Jerry Judy days, all those days of Alabama. But now they kind of took a toll on some of the things, and that's why Bryce Young, in my opinion, kind of had a little bit of a decline. And he still looked pretty damn good. I mean, he still was a Heisman candidate. So for me, I think the best. It's hard for me to really tell who the best quarterback in this draft is going to be. At first, I really thought this quarterback class was stacked, but when you really break it down, a lot of these guys are just potential, and a lot of these guys are just doesn't jump out for me. And I think sitting behind now, it is hard for somebody to jump with less talent, but the same thing goes for a lot of other quarterbacks in the draft. Something like Anthony Richardson, that has been the talk of the town, is somebody that has been recently talked. Right, the Gators didn't play too well. They don't got that much talent. They've been pretty shit all year. Now Anthony Richardson made the most out of it. In my opinion, I do think that, like I said, um, of course Alabama. I can't blame that. Of course Alabama. Of course Alabama. But here, actually, hold up, let me see. So let me actually. Where is it? I'm gonna do it next time because then I have to look it up and stuff like that. I have the Kentucky film, like I said, and I am gonna do film studies on these draft prospects. I hope to see you there, Bourbon, and you'll see what I'm talking about when it comes to Will Levis, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Like I said, You have your opinion, I have mine. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong until they play in the NFL and they do what they do. And I could be looking like the biggest dumbass in the world. I could be looking like I'm 100% wrong, and that's cool. But what I've seen from tape and what I've seen from film from him hasn't been the greatest. I don't want a guy that hesitates on throws. I don't want a guy that decision makes it is horrible. I want a guy that even with less talent could still make the right decisions for the team. There's been times that somebody has been wide open. I think Robinson is his name. So T Robinson or T something, and he made plays because of the underthrows and overthrows. So bro, I know you're a Kentucky fan. And you hey, there could be a little bias on your side, Bourbon. I'm just saying. There could be a little bias. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little biased when it comes to my USC players. I'll keep it a stack. I'm a little biased when it comes to my USC players. I'll be the first to say it. I'll be honest. But like I said, I'm not discrediting Will Levis' potential. His potential is through the roof. His potential is here, and he could reach it if he sits behind a veteran quarterback. Um, I think if he sits behind a veteran quarterback for 1 year, I think Will Levis will be fine. I just don't think he's a top 10 pick. That's what I'm trying to allocate. I don't think he's a top 10 pick. He could go in the first round. I do see him going in the first round, but I believe he's not a top 10 pick. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying he's going to be absolutely shit, but I do say he has a lot of potential. I think we could agree on that. He's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of potential. He's a little biased for USC. I am. I am. Caleb's the truth. But we got to see what happens. Like I said, I've been wrong before with like people like Amik Robertson. I've been wrong before, so I could be totally wrong. But just what I've seen from film right now doesn't impress me the way Mel Kiper has been talking about him. But I do think he'll go in the first round. I do think so. I do think so. I just don't think the Raiders will pick him up. But I do think he has a high potential. Right system, he's fine. That's how I know we need to draft a wide receiver. Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. He could elevate our offense 431, 40, 62. I like Hyatt a lot. I like Tillman a lot too. And I think that's why Hendon Hooker elevated his game a lot. Hyatt and Tillman, I like them both. They both are a little bit of a connection. One is a 50-50 ball getter, one's a speedster. The two guys are perfect together. And I really like both of them. I really think Hyatt could go late first, early second, or even late second. And I do think Tillman might go third or fourth round. Those two guys are good. I like them too. You can't teach this type of toast. Tim Tebow won a playoff. I am definitely biased. Bring in a veteran quarterback and sit Levis behind him. And Bourbon, I wouldn't be mad at that. But I would just not draft Will Levis in the first round. I think if you draft a quarterback in the first round, you're expecting him to start. And for Will Levis, he's not a first-year starter. But I do think if he sits behind a veteran quarterback, exactly what you said, he has the capability of being the best quarterback in this draft. If that happens. Now, who would choose him? That's the question. What system he's going to go? He could go to a shitty team, and he might look horrible. That's the problem. If he goes to like a late-round team that is on the verge of getting rid of their quarterback and he sits behind, he'll look really good. Ask SC about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is an interesting topic. He's a USC guy. He's coming out next year, though. Heisman winner, which some Heisman winners have been good and some Heisman winners have been bad in the NFL. With Caleb Williams, the guy reminds me a lot of different players in the NFL. His ability to get out of the pocket, he's not a Lamar Jackson. He reminds me of a Patrick Mahomes and the play style he's got. Not exactly Patrick Mahomes because nobody's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is above everybody. I hate to say that Kermit the Frog looking ass, but he is. Caleb Williams, his play is like Patrick Mahomes. The ability to get off the pocket, break the tackles, throw on the runs, side throws, those his ability. Caleb Williams, and I know a lot of people say USC doesn't make the best quarterbacks. That's understandable as well. We have the Carson Palmers of the world, the fucking Matt Leonard, the fucking the Mark Sanchez's of the world. Caleb Williams in his first year broke all kinds of record in USC history. Broke all the quarterback records. Had his best. He's the best quarterback in USC history in just 1 year. Now, it doesn't always translate in the NFL. At the end of the day, this guy's a sophomore doing that. I still have to see him his junior year on how he does without Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison, if you guys didn't know, Jordan Addison is a first round talent this year. Jordan Addison is the second best receiver in the draft next to Quentin Johnson. Shout out to All Eyes on G. Shout out to Anthony Estrada. What's good? And Joshua Young was good. Um, Caleb Williams is a sophomore, so he's still got a lot of potential. We're gonna see what he does. He's only 20 years old, y'all. Caleb Williams is younger than me. Caleb Williams is younger than me. Just think about that. He's younger than me. So he's still got the sophomore. He's still got the sophomore year. I mean, he's still got the junior year, and we'll see what he does. I'm not gonna say as of right now, he's the first pick of next year's draft. But we still gotta wait and see what happens, right? So he's still got a lot of potential. He's only 20 years old. We're gonna see what he does with Brandon Rice, which is Jerry Rice's son, with a couple other guys on that receiving core over there that he got. We did lose a receiver recently, which was sad because we do need all receivers. And I heard that with the transfer portal, we might get Michael Harrison Jr. from the Ohio State. So we'll see. Now, SC asked this question in the previous live. Would you trade the 7th pick for 1, 2, 3 next year to use those picks to trade up to get him TB12 for 1 year? I would trade up to get Jalen Carter with Derek Carr. I would trade Derek Carr in the 7th pick for the 3rd. Get Jalen Carter. Personally. Eric for quarterback. Dude, I'll beast it. Oh my God. I would 10 touchdowns a game by me. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I would trade up if they want somebody. They're willing to trade up. They're not scared, right? Hit that like button for me. But let's go with my draft that I have so far. So Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez, or quarterback could be at 7. Then you got Jack Campbell for Iowa. I like his ability, his mobility, and everything about him. I think he's easily a top 5 linebacker in the draft. And then Tuli Tupolito, the DT from USC, also plays defensive end. Led the Pac-12 in sacks. Was 3rd in FBS in sacks. Was one of our best defensive players in a shitty defense. Like he was our best. Like he needed help. Tuli Tupolito is somebody that could really cause havoc through the middle if he has a good defensive line above him. And he's easily a 2nd, 3rd round pick for me. So Tuli Tupolito is easily somebody that I would take. Brandon Joseph for Notre Dame. I know Terrence likes a little bit of Notre Dame there. And Jack Kenna. Brandon Joseph, I think, is a top 5 safety in the draft. I like him a lot. I think he would fit perfect in our system. And you could easily get him in the 4th round. He could go in the 3rd, or he could even go earlier than that. But if you could get Brandon Joseph as of right now in the 4th round, I think it's a perfect match for us. And then you got Tyler Steen, right tackle from Alabama. I would take him. I think this is where I go offense. This is where I help the offensive line, have him behind Jawan Taylor, right? And then you got Jason Kirkland, which is an offensive tackle / guard. He played left guard, he played right guard, he played tackle. The guy is a very versatile guard, somebody else to have behind our offensive line. Then Brandon Dorius, the DT from Oregon, he's been a sleeper of mine that I really enjoyed seeing him play. When I watched Oregon play, they have a good defense. Christian Gonzalez on that defense, and then you have Brandon Dorius, then you have Noah Sewell. They had a pretty good defense over there. So to get somebody like Brandon Dorius in the 174th and the 5th pick is a perfect option, a backup DT there for us. And then you go with Josh Weil from Tennessee, a tight end from Cincinnati. He needs a little work on his blocking, but a great receiving tight end from Cincinnati. Josh Weil is somebody that I would take for the tight end position. Have a rookie tight end there for us. Then this is where I would go wide receiver. Ronnie Bell, a 6'5" behemoth of a speedster over there. Ronnie Bell from Michigan is somebody that you could get in 6th round, a late 6th rounder. And he would fit good in our system. Having him behind the players we got, he played in the slot. I would have him behind all the receivers that we got. A good underrated wide receiver sleeper, in my opinion. Mohamed Dabati from linebacker from Utah is another sleeper of mine that I've had on my board for quite some time. And when watching a Utah tape, there's a reason why they've been top 20 in defense, and that's top 20 defense in college is like top 5 pretty much because there's more than 130 teams in college. So Mohamed Dabedi from Utah is a perfect option for us. And then to end it off, a very, very underrated guy. I think the smaller school guys have a lot of potential. In Coastal Carolina, Gerard Clark, the nose tackle from Central from Coastal Carolina. Um, I have he has a lot of potential in him too, right? He's a seventh round pick for me. He could go undrafted as well. But he's somebody that had 4 sacks this season. He had a 13% pass rush win rate, was pretty damn good. He had 28 pressures, and he's a 6'4", 340 pounder. You wonder why he's a nose tackle. Having him in that nose tackle position is perfect, perfect for us. And I think having him behind everything that we got so far is there. So if you look at the defense that I'm trying to think of, right? You got Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. You have a possibility of getting Jalen Carter, right? You'll have Jalen Carter and Deron Payne, or Deron Payne and Bilal Nichols, and then behind them Jalen Carter, or Jalen Carter as as a rotational guy. Jalen Carter is better than Jordan Davis in my opinion. What he was last year. If you go Christian Gonzalez, if you go to corner, you'll have Christian Gonzalez behind Rock Yassin or Jamal Dean or Nate Hobbs. If you draft a quarterback, then it is what it is, and you go draft a quarterback, right? Tuli Tupolito, another guy. I like Jack Campbell, a linebacker in that linebacking group. You bring back Masterson, you bring back Darren Butler, and then you have Jack Campbell, bro. Jack Campbell's a 6'5" behemoth, bro. The guy's huge. Pause. Brandon Joseph, the safety, you can have him behind Merrick. You can if Merrick doesn't work out, you got Brandon Joseph there. So Brandon Joseph was a top three safety last year, but went back to Notre Dame, I believe. Um, and there's a lot of things with it. So I don't know if you guys like that offseason. To just recap, those are my draft that I would pick. This is my free agency that I would pick. Jawan Taylor, right tackle, Ben Powers, guard, Deron Payne, D tackle, Jamal Dean, corner, Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker. The people that I would resign is Josh Jacobs, Deron Harmon, Jarrett Stidham, Foster Moreau, Cleve Farrell, Amir Abdullah, Jacob Johnson, Andrew Billings, Jerry Tillery. Trade candidates: Trayvon Merrick, Darren Waller, Hunter Riffle, Derek Carr. Restructuring: Colder Miller, Chandler Jones. And then you'll open up a lot of cap space with Derek Carr gone. So I don't know if you guys like that. That was my off season, my blueprint in the off season. They're all realistic possibilities, by the way. This ain't no just throw it out there. Like it really is a possibility to do that. It's just the fact of what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? I do not know. Let me see. Let me see. Let me where the hell is it? Oh, there we go. You know what terrifies me? KC is going to draft Jack Bowers next year. I don't know if they will. They possibly will though. Jack Bowers is really good. Jack Bowers. Jack Bowers. Is it that the boy from Georgia? Let me make sure. Brock Bowers, you meant, right? You meant Brock Bowers, right? I do not, but I don't watch college ball. Yeah, I watch a lot of college ball. I have film recently too, so I've been really doing that. I'm gonna soon do film studies as well. Shout out to Willie Wayne in the building, Willie Coolio in the building, Jaw Raider in the building. Hey, like Nightbot said, stack them up. Hit that like button. Where are we at right now? What are we at right now? We're at 42 likes, y'all. Let's get it to 50 likes, man. Let's get it to 50 likes. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. I'll greatly, greatly appreciate it. Hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for me if you guys can. Hit that like button for me. Let me see. Let me see. Yep, we're at 44. We're at 44. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Shout out to Desert Raider. What's good, man? Thomas Hernandez in the building. I watched the film once the season comes to an end. Oh, there you go. Get the likes up. You already know. Hit that likes up. Tanner from Georgia. Yeah, his name is Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers. I like him a lot, bro. The guy's a fucking beast, bro. We seen it in the national championship, but that guy's all around, bro. He's probably gonna be the first tight end to get off the board, bro. But I'm not sure. Did he declare? That's the question. Mm. Oh, he's not eligible yet. He's not. He's not. Yeah, he doesn't qualify for the draft right now. He does not qualify for the draft right now. Cornerback at 7. I I mean, you can, right? You got of course, how do I say this? You got Christian Gonzalez, you got Clark Phillips, you got Joy Porter, all these different guys. Um, but I don't think Joy Porter is a top 10 pick. 7 is a tough spot. I would rather be either top 5 or 12, 13, 14, or 11 because those are the best positions in getting value. At 7, you're at a hard task because you don't know what the teams ahead of you going to do. You don't know what you're going to do in free agency, right? Free agency is before the draft. And there's just a lot of value at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and at 11, 12, 13, 14. Christian Gonzalez is a top 15 pick in the 10 to 15 range. And if you pick him at 7, it's a little bit of a reach at the end of the day. And it's a corner, right? If you go linebacker, the first linebacker off the board is like ranked 15, 16. And then you look at other things, right? You look at quarterback. Do you really want a quarterback at 7? What quarterback is even going to be available? What defensive end is going to be even available, right? So it's a struggle. For me, Christian Gonzalez, I would choose at 7. If it comes to that point, if there's no Jalen Carter, if there's no Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson, if there's no that you want there, you have to go there or you trade back. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens with them. We'll see how they play it, right? We'll see how they play it. Let me see. Let me see. I watched the film. What's Tenant from Georgia? Kelsey getting old. I do not watch college football. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Mm, he may get passed on due to ACL. Who? Who are you talking about? Trey Hill got drafted by Bengals. Never mind. Who are you talking about? Oh, Hooker. Yeah, Hooker is a fourth, fifth, sixth rounder. He would have been a first rounder, but he tore his ACL. That's somebody you could get in the fourth, fifth, sixth. Now because he tore his ACL, kind of reminds me of Matt Corral. Matt Corral was supposed to be a first round pick, and then he got dropped down because of that ACL tear. Also, his age plays a factor. He's 25, so do you really want a 25-year-old? I mean, it all depends, right? What route you go. But I like Hendon Hooker a lot. He was my favorite quarterback until he tore his ACL. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Trey Hill got. But yeah, so that's like pretty much it. Touchdown Hooker. I know, right? Lions are going to be scared. They literally do not need any offensive picks. They will fill that defense. They need that defense better. There could be another team that passes on a quarterback and gets a DT at Jalen Carter. Hooker costs less than Card. If healthy, he could run. Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. It's just how hard is that ACL gonna affect him? Especially if we still have Illuminor. RG3. I don't think Hendon Hooker is like RG3. I think if you were to say somebody close to RG3, it might be Anthony Richardson. Just because he's more mobile. But yeah. Let me see. Let me see. But yeah, I think that's all. I mean, that's all that I really needed to talk about the off season, how it would look and how I would l- love to see it, right? I got everything. And if you didn't see, this is a recap. Live mock draft? Nah. Nah. The mock draft is right there for you. That's my mock draft right there. On the screen right there. That's the mock draft right now. Right there. That's who I would choose. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see.
Uh, Playoffs?
Okay. I was trying to see how loud that was. Um, but yeah, so that's my mock draft right there. Jalen Carter or Christian Gonzalez or quarterback, Jack Campbell, Tuli Tupolito, Brandon Joseph, Tyler Steen, Jason Kirkland, Brandon Dorless, Josh Wow, Ronnie Bell, Mohammed Dabati, and Jared Clark. That's Ronnie Bell's actually a return specialist too, I think. Yeah, I do too. Imagine Keyshawn Nixon, huh? Keyshawn Nixon, huh? All pro kick returner. And I know some people say that Keyshawn Nixon, that's Rich Bisaccia's fault. But guys, who's the Packers special team coach? It's Rich Bisaccia. Rich Bisaccia is the Packers special teams coach. And just like that, Keyshawn Nixon is an all pro kick returner. Hooker can actually play hooker. It's way better than Anthony Richardson. He is, but he tore his ACL, so that kind of affects him. Um, Draftees comes with a discount. That is facts. Your draft is better. People will have Levis at 4. That's what I'm saying. I'm not picking Levis at 7, man. As you've seen, I'm not picking offensive lineman till like the 5th. I'll do one next week for the Raiders coin drawing. There you go. For sure. So guys, we hit 50 likes. I appreciate you guys, man. That's all I really needed to talk about the offseason. We had 50 strong here, man. 45 plus consistently. So I appreciate that, man. I ain't trying to reach or get players that need to develop at 7. I want a day 1 starter. That's a fact. But I appreciate you guys, man. Like I said, just to recap, this is my mock draft. Take a picture, pause it right there. That's who I would choose. And then my free agency board, that's who I would bring as a free agency. That's a right tackle, guard, DT, corner, and inside linebacker right there. And then I would go all the re-signed people: Josh Jacobs, Deron Harmon, Jared Stidham, Foster Moreau, Cleve Farrell, Amir Abdullah, Jacob Johnson, Andrew Billings, and Jerry Tillery. Those are all guys that I would re-sign. Some trade candidates: Derek Carr, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Trayvon Merrick. Some restructuring: Colton Miller, Chandler Jones, 2 of them. You could restructure other people, but realistically, I think Colton Miller, I think Chandler Jones. But yeah, so I can't wait to see what comes about. We got about a month till we see officially what Derek Carr does, if he really does get traded or not. But we'll see. So on that note, I don't know when I'll be back. Hopefully I'll be back this weekend. Shout out to the Eagles. The Eagles, please beat the shit out of the Niners. Please do me a solid, Eagles, and beat the fuck out of the Niners. Do me a favor and just beat the living shit out of the Niners. Bengals, if you could do me a favor, beat the shit out of the Chiefs. We do not want to see a Chiefs and Niners. Fuck no. I don't want to see none of that shit. So Bengals, Eagles, please, and for the love of God, please beat the shit out of those 2 teams. All right. Eagles, Bengals, Super Bowl. Come on. Please. I do not want the sorry ass fucking Chiefs, Queefs, and I don't want the sorry ass 40-winers. Fuck no. So yeah. On that note, yeah, hit that like button. Like I said, hit that like button. Let me see. Did we hit 50? Did we really hit 50? Let me see. Did we really hit 50? Oh, we did. Let's go. All right, y'all. And that note, hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're new. Make sure to tell people where to find me at the SC Experience. You feel me? We need more people over here. The road to 2K is still serious, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Greatly appreciate you guys. Go support everybody that the link is there, that Terrence is dropping. I appreciate you guys, man. Blessings to you guys and your family. Shout out to Jaw Raider. Not among the most popular opinion, but fuck it. I know. I thought it was gonna be Bills Eagles, but the Bills got fucking smacked by the Bengals. Anyways, shout out to everybody, man. Get your patch. Show up to my lives. Get your patch for sure. Love you, my brother. Love you. Much love to everybody, man. Blessings. Tough 10 or less, but tough people doing. You guys are some tough people, man. Until next time, y'all. This was the S Experience, man. Catch me this weekend or catch me in a couple days, especially. I appreciate you guys, man. And yeah, this was the S Experience, aka boy Eric, man. And all of you guys have a blessed one. Have a good one, man. Stay safe. And remember to always keep it positive when nobody's looking. Peace out.